All right, Woodworker Anonymous out in the shop again, and I just wanted to share one of my more unique ideas that I think is an absolutely phenomenal asset to my workshop. It's going to be something that I think is an asset to anybody's garage workshop. If you got a workshop in a basement, this really doesn't apply. It could work possibly in a shed. That depends on your shed, but perfect for the garage. And it's about dust filtration in the air, in the breathing space that you work in, getting the fine particulates out of the air. I actually thought about looking into those ceiling suspended like air cleaners. Wen makes one, and a bunch of other companies make them, and a lot of other people make these. They're standalone units. They use furnace filters for them. They just make a box out of plywood, put a fan in it or a blower, and put a bunch of furnace filters in there, and they work good too. I'm sure that they do what they're supposed to do, but this is going to be hard to beat. And I don't have any kind of testing equipment. I don't have any kind of empirical data or scientific proof. I'm just going to show you what's going on here. You can evaluate for yourself. I think it's far superior than those other methods if you're working in a garage, okay? And basically what's going on here is I bought a floor, like an industrial sized floor fan, and it came with a tubular base or chassis that had casters on it, and you could roll it around, you know, and plug it in, and it would blow a lot of air. So I took that chassis off, obviously, and then I mounted it in a large panel that fits perfectly within the width of the garage door. So it's not attached to anything, it's just standing there. I mean, I can lift that garage door, slide that in and close the garage door. Everything locks up just like it normally would be. But if I'm out here running table saws, routers, sanders, anything, creating dust, I have that thing on. And you can see it doesn't make hardly any noise. I'm gonna turn it off here for you. Okay, I just turned it off. There is a little bit of hum. It's on low, but even on low, okay, this thing is moving 1,700 cubic feet per minute. That is a lot of air. And so this works best, obviously, when it's, you know, in a panel like this that completely blocks off the bottom opening outside, okay? And the garage doors, if you have other garage doors, are closed and don't have any doors to the inside of your house open, and close your space. So what happens is when you have this raised up off the floor, the top of the garage door is open a little bit, creates an inlet, if you will. So when this thing's running, it is pulling 1,700 cubic feet of fresh air into your garage, and it's pulling it all in up top. All right, and it's blowing 1,700 cubic feet out down at the bottom. So this air up here is coming in, it's going to come in and it has to get, it's going sucking it down and right back out. It's turning into this giant vortex right here in front of the garage door. This is awesome because the particulate is suspended in the air, is getting pushed down by the fresh air coming in. It's knocking it right down. It's not floating around in the shop. And I can verify that. I can tell you, I'm running my routers and stuff like that that generate the most amount of dust, and I can look up at the lights, and usually I can see a little cloud of fine dust and stuff in the air. There's nothing. You don't see any of that. This moves everything. It just drops everything down and out. And it is far superior to those small enclosed dust filtration machines. I'm sure they work, but they're not moving this kind of volume, and they're not pulling in fresh air. Okay, so what's more, the ones that hang from the ceiling, I mean, again, I haven't done studies on this, but let's be honest. It has to pull the dust up to it to filter it, right? So, I mean, that kind of seems like it doesn't make any sense. So it should be at least down on the floor if you wanted to. I mean, you would want it to pull it down, I would think. So suspending them from the ceiling to me seems kind of counterproductive to the job it's trying to do. This is automatically just smashing shit down and throwing it out the front of your garage door. So an added benefit to this is, okay, it's a garage workshop. Well, it's not heated. So it's cold out here in the winter. So I heat my garage with a kerosene heater right over there. And when you run a kerosene heater inside, you're going to have fumes. So when you're running a kerosene heater and you have this running at the same time, it's not an issue at all. You don't really have any problem with kerosene fumes. It does bring in cold air, which is counterproductive to heating the garage, but when I run that heater on that side of the garage, it gets pretty warm over there and it just pulls the heat this way as and this garage, even when it's in the 20s outside, will stay very comfortable. It'll stay between 55 and 60 degrees with that thing running, even pulling in the dead cold air. So if you have a single car garage, this is going to be even more of a complete and total air cleanse, because you'll have more enclosed space and this vortex will be operating on more of the entire area or volume of your workshop. It doesn't, if I was cutting wood over there, it probably wouldn't capture or pull all the dust out of the air. But since I'm here and this is where all the wood is generated and this is where the big suction and the big vortex is, you never see wood like dust go from here to there. That doesn't happen. I bought a bunch of these outlets that are controlled by a remote control, and they're pretty cool. Like, this was cheap. I think I spent like, I'm gonna say less than 40 bucks. And they give you 2 remote controls, and they give you 5 of these outlets, and they're rated up to 15 amps and 1800 watts. So I have no problem. I have my shop vacs hooked up to it. I have that thing hooked up to it, and I keep this thing just velcroed onto my table saw right here. It's really always close at hand. Sometimes I'll just put it in my pocket if I got my vest on. Come in, I just hit the button. It turns on the exhaust fan, and this just runs pretty much anytime I'm out here using a power tool cutting wood. I have that thing on. I also have it hooked up to like a shop vac over here that I use for this dust system here. Push that button, goes into a dust deputy and into a large trash can. So all these tools along the wall can just tie into that little shop vac system, and it all goes right down into the large trash can there, which is very, very convenient because you don't have to empty that all that often. It's very, very large and it's easy. Just disconnect the hose, pull the lid off, dump it. So, and having clean air to breathe, that's huge. I mean, I could wear a mask or a respirator all the time. I don't want to do that. I hate that. This totally eliminates and makes me feel totally safe in operating these tools out here. Don't get me wrong, I still use dust collection when I'm like running the fan. So it's the stuff that gets in the air that we're talking about here. And this is just dead simple, dead effective. And again, it is limited to the garage workshop, but hey, lots of guys are out here in the garage like me. I know that. Try it. You will never go without it again. I guarantee you guys. Anyway, that's a tip from Woodworker Anonymous today. Listen guys, get out in the shop, make something cool, and I'll catch you next time.